What should we actually eat in a day after 50 if our goal is to keep our muscle mass and not lose it? I'm Janet, wellness speaker and competitive bodybuilder in my late 60s, and this is exactly how I eat to prevent muscle loss, or scientifically known as sarcopenia. In this video, I'll walk you through the go-tos, the foods that I love to eat, and a few things to avoid in a day, along with 5 real-life strategies to protect muscle and keep you strong. And we're doing it right here in my kitchen. Nothing fancy, just honest, real habits that work. So if you missed my last video on muscle versus cardio after 50, I'll link it right here. That one breaks down exercise and the training side of the story. But today, we're going to talk about food, because you can't out-train a muscle-starved plate. Now, this isn't meant to suggest that these are the only things I eat, nor is it only the things you can choose from. It's an example, a pattern that you can follow. You can switch it up. In fact, I arrived at this general plan by listening to my coaches and trainers over the years, tossing aside things that they told me to eat that I just no, I can't do that, and adding a valid substitute. So examining my results, my blood work, my body composition, the stats, and the sustainability, because these are things I like, that led me to progress over time. So remember, if you don't like the foods in the first place that I'm suggesting here, odds are your plan won't be sustainable anyway. So there are people listening who have food allergies. A sustainable plan is different for everybody. I have to be completely honest. These are just the foods I like, and they are best for me to be sustainable in the long term. If some of this on my list doesn't suit you, we can still be friends. But I know that there's going to be somebody watching this that's going to say, you recommended dairy, and that'll destroy people. Well, if you're allergic to lactose, then skip over that part. If you have a nut allergy, I get it. Okay, so I'm not saying you have to eat nuts. There's, gluten, there's all kinds of allergies out there. And also, there's things that you just plain go ick. So remember, this is my introduction to what I eat. People are curious. Understand that this is not the gold standard for every human being out there. Strategy number 1, protein first. The foundation of everything that I've been able to build. Let's start with the most important piece of the puzzle. After 50, your body becomes less efficient using it anyway. So that's why I aim for quite a bit of protein in my diet to be able to maintain my muscle mass. When I ate too few grams of protein, the first thing that shows up is loss of bone density and muscle mass. So everybody's different, and there may be different parameters for how you choose how much protein you eat. But I found what works for me, and I try to spread it out throughout the day. One of the things I found, I think I mentioned this in a former video, I did try intermittent fasting for a while, and while there are tremendous health benefits to doing it because it allows your gut to really clean out and reset, it's good for gut health and hormonal balance, and it's also kind of a sneaky way to experience calorie restriction because you're not eating all day long. So there's that too. But I found for me, because I have to eat quite a bit of protein to keep myself from losing muscle or bone mass, that if I only restrict myself to a 6 or an 8-hour window, I can't eat enough protein. It's literally just makes me ill to stuff all that food in. So it doesn't work for me. However, I do recognize, I have friends who love it and they look fantastic and they feel great and they have good results. So I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying I spread it out throughout the day, and It keeps my blood sugar level, and I just like eating like that. You can eat a different amount of whites, and you can eat all the yolks. It's fine. But the reason I do that is because the yolks are a source of healthy fat, and I happen to like other kinds of fat in my diet, so I can have a variety rather than spend all of the macros just on egg yolks. It's okay. Someone is going to comment, so Janet, what do you do with all the leftover yolks? Well, I'll tell you a little secret. The neighbors have a big fluffy dog. And I'll tell you, it has the shiniest coat in the state of Arizona. With their permission, their dog gets to help me out. So now you know her beauty secret. Shh. I recommend plain Greek yogurt because the fruit added yogurt is bonkers with sugar. There's too much. And I also can add my own berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. They're delicious. Maybe some slivered almonds on top. Oh, you don't need all that sugar. So, like I said in the beginning, it's not about perfection, but the combo of yogurt and berries and nuts is pretty close. So smoked salmon, as you can see, I have it wrapped because we ate some of my props this weekend. It's easy to incorporate in anything else you want to eat because it's already made. And protein shake, this is the one I like. It's from True Nutrition. They're not a sponsor or an affiliate. I just like this brand. I'll put a link in the show notes for you so that you can check it out. But what's great about this company is you can order such a variety. It's kind of like a mix and match where if you want vegan protein powder or whey or egg whites, they even have cricket ground up if you want cricket protein. So I don't recommend it, but maybe you like that. But then they have all the flavors, all the possible ones you want. You can get a 1 pound, 2 pound, 5 pound bag. And you can also do custom add-ons like BCAAs or collagen. Next up, fiber and greens. These aren't just digestion friendly. They stabilize your blood sugar and reduce inflammation, which matters if you're protecting muscle tissue. Lately, one of my favorites, and it's the only vegetable left in my refrigerator right now, is very finely shredded green and red cabbage, purple cabbage, and a little bit of carrot. This makes a great slaw. You can see it's just already, the labor is taken out of it. And I can just add a little peanut vinaigrette. I can toss in some foil packed tuna, which is fabulous, or whatever I want. I can go with more protein. I can go with more like cherry tomatoes. It's delicious and it's a great base, but also true of spinach and kale, things like that. Now let's talk about strategy number 3, your dietary fats. Now, when you are over 50 years old, fats are your friend, not your enemy. They are your hormonal ally. And I include healthy fats in just about every meal because it really helps with satiety and energy. It's concentrated energy, so you don't need a bushel full of it. But in the beginning, it's good to measure and try different sources. And the main thing to remember in your fat consumption is get away from processed fats, from deep fried foods and fast foods that give you, once you do that, once you eliminate those things, that gives you so much leeway into putting fats from the friend zone into your inner circle of familiars. So strategy number 4, carbohydrates, eating them smart. So here's what I mean by that. To be clear, right off the bat, I am a pro-carb person. It's just that I'm also an anti-blood sugar roller coaster person too. In my last video, I talked a little bit about diet identity and the dogma that goes with that. So rather than calling yourself I am a vegan, carnivore, whatever in between, it means that you get stuck in the dogma, and really it is a practice, it is a habit It's not who you are, but it defines choices that you make. So if you follow a keto-friendly plan, then you will be eating less of this category and more from the protein and fat categories. I prefer a Mediterranean style of diet, but I'm not super strict. I like to graze a little of this, a little of that, try new things. I count it as a bonus in my life that my parents raised me as a vegetarian. So I learned to love a wide variety of foods, and they were all really healthy because we grew them in our organic garden. They were definitely ahead of their time. These carbohydrates give me training fuel and recovery fuel so that I have the energy and the stamina, and I have some building blocks to help me be able to recover quickly after an intense workout. And then the only other thing I would say is I tend to eat more carbs toward the middle of the day, a little bit in the morning, a lot more in the middle of the day, and then I really taper off so that at dinner, it's really protein, vegetables, and fats. And principle number 5. Let's be real. We all know the foods that we shouldn't be eating. We know the ones that drain our energy or spike the blood sugar and then make you crash hard and fall asleep. Oh, they sabotage recovery too, even if you don't get the sugar crash. It's not enough real food to help you have what it takes to put yourself back together again. So for me, that means skipping the sugary yogurt, sweetened cereals, and those so-called healthy energy drinks. Just water, some coffee in the morning, some mineral water. That's about it. Maybe some herbal tea, iced right now because it's hot and summery outside. So these are the principles that really help me with energy and vitality, sleep, lowering my anxiety, not too much caffeine, sugar that comes in a natural way, that comes naturally with food. And it helps me a lot with recovery. I find that when I'm leaning out for a bodybuilding show, I definitely do have to cut back on carbohydrates for a little bit. And it's kind of funny because for the first 2 or 3 days after the drop in sugar, I'm kind of okay. And then all of a sudden, I literally run out of gas at a time when I'm like, what's wrong with me? And my trainer has to remind me, Janet, you cut your carbs by more than a half. You're going to feel it. It doesn't feel great, but I know that those of you who go in and out of keto know what I'm talking about. It takes a little while to switch from burning sugar to burning fat. So this is how I eat in a typical day to prevent sarcopenia, aka muscle loss, and osteopenia, bone loss. So it's protein forward, fiber rich, smart with carbs, mindful with the extras. That way, the only shift I need to make when training for a competition is to increase intention, be a little more of a planner. I measure a little bit more so that I can be absolutely precise with what I'm putting in my body. And I do the weekly caliper test where I test my fat content, so that I know that if I lose weight or gain weight in a week, I know that it's fat loss and muscle gain that's causing those levers to go up and down. So right now, before I start my crunch time, I will stick with my A-team foods, my friends, all the time, but relax on the type measuring, the weighing of the food scale, and some of the strictness on portions. These healthy foods are what I enjoy anyway. Right now, for a little longer, I can eyeball the amount that I'm eating and broaden my palate a little bit until it's time to get ready for the stage. This keeps me strong and bursting with energy, and it keeps me about 12 to 15 pounds above my show weight. So it's very easy to, in over 6 months, to be able to drop that off slowly and gradually and strategically. So let me know in the comments, If you would like more videos like this, real food, real habits, right from my kitchen, then remember, you're not just eating for today. You are eating for strength and independence that you'll want a decade from now or more. Let's age strong together.